Welcome back to Let's Play Katawa Shoujo. Nope. Completely unrelated to what unrelated rambling I'm probably going to do in a few seconds, but look at that. That's Katawa, and that's obviously Shoujo, right? And this kind of bugs me, because I'm pretty sure these are kanji characters, because I don't recognize them. But if that's the case, then that right there is those two. And I ask, why? Why are there so many goddamn kanji characters? I mean, they just look like they combine, like, the equivalent of taking this right here, which is that, this, which is that, and putting them together and making a completely different character. Why? It barely even shortens the freaking, you know, having to write shit down. In fact, it makes it more confusing because some of these characters can be more complex and all that. I mean, the alphabet's just ridiculous. And you got two versions of it as well. They're essentially the same, but used for different freaking things. Like, katakana is used for non-Japanese origin, and hiragana, which is this, for, you know, Japanese origin. It's really confusing. But anyways, I'm going to address an elephant in the room here. Well, it's not really much of an elephant in the room, because everyone freaking won't shut the fuck up about it. So, I'm not American, but, you know, this sort of election thing, I'm not gonna really say much about it, other than I think, both candidates, suck. So, it's a no-win situation there, in my opinion. But what I am going to do is I'm going to make, a random joke scenario out of this sort of situation here. Bear with me, I was just like, when I think about this type of stuff, I don't like to talk about politics or things like religion or like, you know why? Because it's controversial as fuck, and when it comes to that, I've freaking just like, first time in quite a while, just browsed my Facebook feed, because like, I gotta see what this has led to, you know, with this whole, you know, election thing. And it reminded me why I don't browse through social media much these days, because it's such a clusterfuck of a shitstorm. People just like, on either side of things are at each other's throats all the goddamn time, to the point where it's just like, what's even the difference anymore? You're just at each other's throats all the goddamn time, and it just, freaking have a freaking civilized conversation, just like, this is the internet, we don't do that. Anyways, so like, I've kind of got a bit into wrestling again these days, what with watching Botchamania and then this What Culture channel. It's kind of piqued my interest back in that. So I just thought, what if we treat this election as like a wrestling scenario, right? If you don't not watch wrestling, then this will just fall flat. Otherwise, I don't know. But it's just an amusing kind of image out of my mind. Like, Trump won the election, right? So he is the next president. When I heard about that, I was like, shit, just add to the freaking year of shit. It doesn't matter who won that. They're just like, couldn't we save that for next year? And then I found out, no, that's actually January. It's like, okay then, because this year's, well, actually, that just would mean that next year starts off shit, I guess, maybe. Who cares? Well, people, I guess. Well, whatever. Besides the point. So he wins that. And then while he's celebrating, Bernie Sanders just comes in, RKO out of nowhere, 1, 2, 3, he's got the briefcase thingamajig, he cashed in on it, and we're gonna have a new president there. But then Trump challenges him to a rematch, which he accepts, and I was like thinking this Vince Russo guy, like, when he was like actually in the business, I didn't watch wrestling back then, I watched it 2002 to God knows when. So I didn't catch any of his stuff, but I've heard of his infamous kind of matches with putting shit on poles. Not literal shit, but I wouldn't be surprised. So we'll have it that they have a match where there's like the keys to the White House or some such shit on a pole match or something between Trump and Sanders. Trump wins, and then as he's celebrating in the ring, he puts his hand under his jaw, lifts it up and reveals it was a mask and that it was Clinton all along. And then she's all like, it was me, America. And freaking GR's like, son of a bitch. She's like, it was me, America. It was me all along. You know, it's better just come up with a stupid comedic scenario than to freaking talk about it. Because everyone's talking about it. It's just like, it's only been like, what, 2 days while I'm recording, and it's already getting on my nerves. It's kind of why I don't tend to pay attention to social media, because, my god. Clusterfuck. Anyway, let's get to the plot. As much as I tend to ramble a lot, I'd rather not ramble around about politics. Because, you know, in the words of Bob Ross, in our little world here, we don't have those negative things. Shoot, if you want negative things, look at the news, as he would say. Well, whatever. Let's actually focus on the plot. She hesitates for a second, but eventually deigns to tilt her face forward and close her eyes. My lips meet hers with a measure of slight trepidation before we move off, hand in hand. The fact that we're so close in height is somewhat useful at times, there being no need for either of us to turn our heads upwards nor downwards in order to meet the others. It doesn't take much time to leave. The noise of the yellow students far behind us, the tapping of Lily's cane in her free hand, the only sound to be heard aside from the music. Silence, blissful silence, is all that greets us while we slowly walk in the setting sunlight. You know, when I woke up today, I was really disorientated. You know, vivid dreams, nightmares. I just like woke up and I was like, what the fuck is all that? And all I could hear is like, just like noise. My nephew was over, noise. He had friends in the garden. It's like, you know how kids communicate in a way that you can't understand a word they're saying and just think, how the hell do they understand what they're saying? Because all you can hear is loud noises. I'm just like, oh, what a way to be woken up, noisy bastards. Let's forward to the South Park clip where the old guy in the Garden of Betrayal thing. I haven't even seen the episode, but I have seen the clip. It's just like, get the fuck out of my garden, you stupid kids, or something. Anyways, so, you know, that was not blissful silence. I think I'm going to really like this town. The huge green hilly expanse, the trees everywhere, and the somewhat rustic little buildings. So you've come to appreciate the tranquility of it as well? I think so. I came from a metropolitan city near Tokyo, so... Ow! The quiet of this town really alienated me when I first arrived. It reminds me of a conversation I had with my brother the other day. Like, he's traveled a bit around, you know, more than me when it comes to, you know, traveling around the UK. Like, I've barely, you know, I've been to a few places in England, but barely. I've been to Northern Ireland, I've never been to Scotland, never been to Ireland, never been to Europe, never been anywhere else, essentially. My brother, on the other hand, he's been to America, and he's gone pretty much probably all over Britain, except for, you know, well, that technically isn't part of Britain, it's the UK for Northern Ireland. You get the idea. He was telling me of, like, the places he's been in England, and his comment is just like, all has this rural look to it. Other than the cities, it's just like, all has that rural look to it outside of the city. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but he's been to a few places in England, but I don't think he's been to, like, any of, like, the big cities in England, but, you know, that's probably true, though. It's just like, outside of a city, it's just kind of, you got that kind of look to it, isn't it? Like, a city is all just kind of cramped together, just like loads of buildings, barely any trees around. Once you're outside of the freaking town, it's just a city or wherever, it's just like, oh, suddenly loads of fields and trees. Or maybe that's just because that is just how Britain looks, really, isn't it? Outside of the cities and the towns, there's a lot of fields and stuff. Anyways, rambling again. It's really, yeah, I said that. After a while, it became really nice, though. I think I prefer to the rustle and bustle to my home city now. As I've stated before, I'm not particularly a fan of cities. I've, you know, only been to a few cities in my life, but I just don't like the kind of, what's feels almost claustrophobic in a way. It's just like so many people everywhere. It's just like you could be walking on one street and people be walking in all directions through the streets. While in a rural area, it's freaking you're gonna have to walk anywhere, man. There's not gonna be like thousands of people everywhere you goddamn go. But if you're in a city, that's pretty much the whole freaking thing, isn't it? People everywhere, everywhere. And for someone with social anxiety, it's just like, no, do not like cities. Sure, they've got a lot to offer, but still, it's just like, cities don't have that kind of, you know, atmosphere where it's just like kind of relaxed. Maybe they do have parts of cities like that, but if they did, they probably wouldn't be, because then they'd be like, people just be like, oh, let's go to like an area where it's more relaxed. And then other people have the same idea, and then it suddenly starts to lose its relaxing feel because there's just loads of people there anyway. I don't know.
Well, I preferred the quiet of such a rural town even when I first arrived. I suppose I had the advantage of growing up in that quiet area before I came. Hanako said the surroundings are very pretty too.
Lily may say such a thing quite easily, but each time she mentions how well as described sights around her as beautiful and or pretty, I feel a little put off. Notice the expression becoming one of anticipation for some question or another. She always had a good sense for when somebody's not saying something that's on their mind, so I may as well speak up. I was kind of wondering how to put this. Do you ever regret that you can't see what things look like for yourself? It's just something I've been thinking about. She thinks carefully for a time.
Do you ever regret that you can't hear people whispering on the other side of a room? I can only speak for myself, but the fact that I can see it is the only way I've experienced life, just as I cannot do something you can. You can't do something that I'm capable of. The fact that the world is made for those who are sighted can be a pain sometimes, but there are many people who suffer much more than I because of the way the world is.
Well, the world isn't made for anyone, really, is it? I don't even know how to word that. Because really, think about it, it's just like, it's an adaptation, you know? It's like, she's blind, so her other senses are heightened to, you know, make up for the lack of sight. And then I just, like, immediately thought of, like, deep-sea, you know, creatures. Like, for a deep-sea creature, sight would be pretty much useless, wouldn't it? Because it'd be bugger all to see, it'd be too dark. It's just like, and the creatures that live deep in caves and stuff like that, you'd have to have a different adaptation. That's a completely different species in general, isn't it? But you know, it isn't all about sight. Sight is a useful sense, but it's not the only sense. That does make sense. I'm saying sense a lot here, aren't I? But still, it just kind of, just feels kind of bad to describe something that you can't experience here. She tilts her head quizzically, as if I just said something that makes very little sense at all. And there is again! Sense!
But I can experience it. You just said yourself that you like this area because of the way the surroundings are. I like this area for the very same reason. Thanks to the fact that this is a small rustic town surrounded by trees, you get some peace and quiet away from the din at school and the bustle, not to mention the smells in the city. I suppose it would also be much like the home she shared with Akira as well. Her outlook on it seems pretty sensible, and I'm not surprised that she's got a much better handle on her particular condition than I do on mine. Just like how her coming from a location somewhat similar to Maku's surroundings let her become more acclimatized in a shorter time. Being born blind affected her sense by her own admission. I should stop being so annoyed with myself over it, but I can't shake the feeling that I've depended on Lily far too much, given the circumstances most have had to deal with in Yamako. That makes a lot of sense. You're pretty good at explaining, as always. Come to think of it, where is Hanako anyway? She was with us for lunch. It seems she's busy studying. The exams are far from over, and she said she wants to do better this year than the last.
Well, I admire her work ethic. She's really been trying to give us a lot of room alone recently.
She's that type of person, I think. The kind that puts others' needs above her own at every chance. She's a sweet girl, even though she so much has hurt her in the past. I don't know, I feel it's only now, when she's less close to me than ever, that she's truly finding herself. It was thanks to you that she began to become more confident, after all, not me. I take my hand from hers and gently place it on her head. The important thing is that you were there for her. I can't even imagine what she'd be like without having found someone like you. That much became obvious while you were in Scotland. We're all still friends, so we just got to have faith in her. I think she'll become a good person, and that much is thanks to you being there for her when she most needed it, just as you were there for me. It makes me feel a bit childish when you sound so wise.
Well, I try. Are you doing anything on the weekend by any chance?
Nothing that comes to mind. Why?
Then how about a date on Sunday? It's something to do besides exam preparation.
Countering my rapidly beating heart, she simply smiles and nods. That would be lovely.
Where would you like to go?
Her face suddenly changes to one of disapproval. You can't do that, Hisao. That's cheating.
Do what?
A gentleman should never ask a lady where to have a date.
Oh. Her smile quickly comes back, assuring me that she's far from serious.
Don't worry about it. I'll think about where we could go.
You know, it reminds me, like, all the times you hear this, like, of couples just be asking their girlfriends or boyfriends. Usually it tends to be a boyfriend asking a girlfriend kind of thing, you know. Just like, where should we eat? And you just say, wherever, or something like that. It's like, God damn it, give me a freaking exact location. If you just say wherever, I will take us to wherever. We'll go to a dumpster, and that's where we will have meal. Have meal? Have grammar. No. Anyways, I'll leave it to you then. I promise to decide on the next date, though. With our plans for the weekend made, the rest of the walk down the hill continues in silence. The prospect of that lasting for any length of time, however, is shuddered as I catch sight of a familiar figure waiting for us, her hand held high. Yo! Oh, god damn, I forget how I did it. Yo! I can't remember it. It has to be a full sentence for me to get used to the voice that I gave her. Thank you, please come again. And all that. The change in temperature has I step outside from the convenience store sends a chill down my spine. It feels like summer is starting to wind down as I look to the sign that is clearly written in, fuck, I don't know. I hate that, man. It's too blurry. I've noticed that about the Japanese language. Wait, ooh, what we got here? That looks translatable. God damn, I can't tell if that's like curved in like that or not. That can't be ta, that's ha, but it's also pronounced wa, depending on its context. That is ko, and that is, I don't know what the fuck that actually says, essentially. That looks like a smiley face, therefore probably, is it katakana, is that what it's called? I haven't memorized it. Yeah, it's got the tilted T there that I refer to it as, so yeah, that's definitely katakana there. Oh, it's even got the smiley face right there, definitely katakana. I'm not sure what that one is. That's probably kanji, that's kanji, that's kanji, therefore I don't know. I can translate one thing, Oramat. That's because it's already in English. It's kind of weird how that works, isn't it? Just like, it's supposed to be in Japan, you've got things in Japanese, but you've got things occasionally in English. Anyways, did I read that? Yeah. Looking to my side, the same feeling seems to affect Lily as well. Though, unlike me, she doesn't manage to hide the fact. Something I didn't realize at first was how physically delicate she is. Even compared to the likes of Hanako. Oh man, I can't freaking help it. I must look at my notes. I want to freaking see if I can figure out. Wait. No, it's no. It just looks crudely drawn there. Or perhaps it's just because it's blurred. No, it's not that. It's got to have that at the front. You know what? A second. Tahako. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, because I'm not sure if that's a ta or not. And that, now that I look at it, could potentially be ba, depending whether it's got lines next to it or not. Kind of hard to work it out, you know, but apparently I just put that into Google Translate. Because it's just one word, right? Should be easy enough, and it just translated as other boxes, so I have no idea. Anyways, let's just forget that and get back to the plot. Looking to my side, the same feeling seems to affect Lily as well. Unlike me, she doesn't manage to hide the fact. Something I didn't realize at first was how visibly delicate she is, even compared to the likes of Hanako. If I had to describe her, I'd have to say that she reminds me of a China doll. Akira walks up behind her and gives her a couple of hard pats on her shoulder. Much to Lily's consternation for a moment, she looks as envious of my status as an only child as I am of their close relationship. They talk between themselves for a few moments as I sort out my bags. Their voices too low for me to catch, but eventually they break off and we begin to walk back to school. It feels good to be out of the damned office. You kids don't know how good you have it here. Now I remember your voice. Kids. You two then kids grow up so fast nowadays. I'm not old enough to say that. I don't know, being around Hideaki makes me feel damn old. He's so precocious, he reminds me of when you were younger. He's a nice boy. It would be a shame if Shizune comes to have too much of an influence on him. Akira gives an amused snort at her sister's and baby. She really doesn't seem to regard it as anything to make a serious fuss about, treating it more like a childhood spat. She looks over to me, apparently only just remembering that I'm here, and gives a small grin as she reaches towards her back pocket. What is it? Just a sec, let me dig it out. After quite some difficulty, she managed to retrieve her black leather wallet from her back pocket, quickly fishing out what looks to be a folded square of paper. With Lily all but unaware of what's happening, Akira unfolds the scrap and hands it to me. What is this? Sorry, I'm just kind of taking in the picture here, what's going on here. Oh, I think I get it. An old photo of what looks to be a younger Lily and Shizune operating a noodle stall with some logo in the background. She looks vaguely familiar, but I can't quite pinpoint why. Ah, of course! That's freaking Misha, isn't it? If you saw Shizune's route, we did see a flashback where Misha had different color hair. And look at the eyes, same color, so that's kind of a clue there. But if you hadn't seen Shizune's route, you wouldn't have known that. Her hair wasn't always... Okay, that kind of does make sense. Remember when I ranted on about hair colors? That long, ridiculous rant? Well, I guess she did, you know, technically have, you know, normal color hair. It's just, she's a brunette. But for some reason, she went with pink hair and drills for some reason. But that's Misha. Shizune, obviously, and Lily. Beautiful face! That's the way I said that. So this must be what they were referring to when they like did the festival thing the previous year or something. This must be from that. Well, obviously. What is it, Akira? I think you know. Lily mulls this over for a few moments before realization dawns on her.
Akira, you really needn't.
It's fine, isn't it? Besides, it's like the only photo I have of you two since you entered Hanako where you're not at each other's throats.
I look back down to the photo in my hand.
It does seem strange to see Lilly and Shizune working together so diligently without any sign of animosity. The photos of them during Yamaku's festival, that means it must have been taken 1 or 2 years ago. In other words, the time when they were both in the student council together. There's a girl in the back. She looks kind of familiar. I knew you wouldn't recognize her. It's Misha before she went and dyed her hair pink. Yeah, I guessed right. But that's only because, if I hadn't played for Shizune's route, before this route, I would have been as confused as him, to be honest. I mean, the only indication that I'd think is, like, the eyes and the fact that, Shizune's there, and Misha and Shizune are inseparable, it seems. So it'd have to be no one but her, wouldn't it? But, we've already seen that route, and we saw a flashback with her brown, long hair. And why she decided to make it into pink drills, I can't remember if she explained, but does it matter? No. That's Misha? No way. It was extremely strange to see Misha out her so very distinctive hairstyle. Judging from Akira's tone, she doesn't take favorably to Misha's idea of fashion. I suppose that fact just situates how odd the situation looks. I think they were so friendly in the past. I wish I could do something to mend their relationship.
You're being very quiet, Hisao.
It just feels kind of strange to see you all so friendly like this. Then he moves to say something but stops herself. In the end, this isn't a matter for me. It's between Shizune and Lilly, nobody else.
Things change, unfortunately.
I hand the photo back to Akira, who sighs as she folds it up and slides it back into her wallet. Little memory quietly hidden away to be pulled out again sometime later. Yeah, that they do. Initially, I think Akira's reaction to be simply in response to the situation between Lilly and Shizune, but she looks oddly glum compared to what I'd expect. Lilly's expression is clouded as well. What's wrong? It's just I'll be going to Scotland fairly soon. You're leaving for Scotland again? For a long moment, Akira looks surprised. It's an ill-fitting expression for her. After a glance at Lilly, she turns back to me as if she had never done so. Yeah, in a couple of weeks I'll be leaving for Inverness to work at the company's headquarters. It's a pretty big jump in corporate position. It's not a chance that's going to come again. Ah, that's a permanent relocation, is it? Well, now I know where the drama for this route's going to be based around. At least partly. Or maybe fully, I don't know, because I haven't played for this route before. So Akira's going to leave Japan on what seems to be a permanent basis. I can't help feeling that my assumption that we could all happily while away our days having fun in this isolated little world is coming to an end. It's unsettling. I look at Lilly, mildly surprised that she hasn't told me such a thing despite usually being so forthcoming. She continues to walk with her face fixedly pointed ahead. I can't read her expression, nor can I even guess what's on her mind, which is discomforting given how it's usually easy for me to do both. Maybe that's why, if you recall back when we started Lilly's route, when it did the animation opening that it does for each character, it kind of like showed when Akira was just waved goodbye and just walked an opposite way, and like Lilly's odd reaction. Maybe it was kind of like foreshadowing. It's like, at some point Akira will leave. I don't know. I just found it a bit odd, and just like, because I have never played this route and have no idea what to expect. It reminds me of the time when we met at the Shanghai, just before what could be called our first date. At the time, all I could do was comfort her without knowing the cause, and now feels no different. Speaking of the Shanghai, the sign outside the Shanghai literally is, just says Shanghai. I remember when I was just like trying to translate it but couldn't figure it out, but I typed it into freaking Google Translate. Not the most reliable thing, but it did show the exact same characters, so it is. As we finally reach the school dormitories once again, there's a somewhat awkward silence. I don't think I'm the only one who knows it. I feels it. See you tomorrow then, Lilly. Bye, Akira.
Good night, Hisao.
See ya. And with that, they walked to the female dormitories. Opening the door to the male dormitories, I stopped and looked back at them just moments before their figures disappeared behind the heavy wooden door. That was a strange moment when Akira said she was leaving. Well, that wasn't the first time when my thoughts regarding my new life have been called into question. It's perhaps the first time to do it quite so profoundly. I still don't know what to make of Akira's reaction, much less of Lily's. The night's chill reminds me to get back to my room before I catch something. My bag's pulling down on my arms with seemingly redoubled weight. If nothing else, I have a date with her set up for the weekend. I just need to stop overthinking stuff and get on with things as they are. Oh, that's an easy thing to say, Hisao, but does the mind want to cooperate? No. Bloody last night when I was trying to sleep, I was thinking of that bloody election shit. It was just like going over my head and just like, I even thought maybe like just talk about it. Because the way I worded in my mind was perfect. It was like a speech. It was amazing. And it wasn't even about the election itself. It was just about, how people are drawn to, certain politicians over other ones, despite the fact that the one that they end up with is, probably worse than the other one usually. And it's like perfectly worded in my mind. And I was like, if I try to say all that though, I'd just be like, fuck, how did I word it? Because freaking speaking and thinking just doesn't go well for me when it comes to that. But essentially, I just thought, it makes sense how, like, people are drawn to politicians who are overly confident. Because, people want someone with confidence. They want someone to tell them it's like, I will do good. They don't want someone to be like, I will try to, because then it's uncertainty. It doesn't matter if they're freaking smarter and well-rounded person, and this other person is just arrogant to the point just like, I can do all this shit because I am the best. Then it'd be like, they must be the best because they said they're the best and they sound confident. Let's go with this guy or this woman or whatever the fuck it is. And then when all goes to shit, they're like, why did we do that? We're such idiots for falling for that. The next time around, same situation happens. That one, fuck, got us again. Why do we keep falling for this shit? It's like, look for the freaking candidate that's like more humble, honest, but also has like really good grip on things and it's just impossible in the world of politics. And it's just like the way I word it in my mind is freaking perfect. It's an absolute perfect speech, but I wouldn't be able to say it because I'm just crap at speaking, I guess. So that was part of the reason. Just like that's an example. I was just trying to sleep. And that was all of my mind. There was something else that came to mind as well. I can't remember where it was. I got mad, but it's just like when it comes to overthinking it all, you can't freaking do shit about it usually. And if you're just like, I will try to stop overthinking, then you're just going to overthink even more because you're worried about, you're thinking about stopping the overthinking. Therefore, you're thinking, and the overthinking comes in, and you keep thinking about it, it keeps coming back and forth, back and forth. And then by the time you get to sleep, it's like freaking God knows how much time has passed. Anyways, the exams are still ongoing after all, and with the trimester's end and the summer holidays beginning soon, there'll be plenty to keep me busy for a while. As I give a yawn and retreat inside, my thoughts turn to what Lily will decide to set as the location of our weekends. Freaking words like that. Ronde. I don't know. Dib-a-dip.